Hi, have you cruised solo before? Are you kind of nervous about booking your first solo cruise? Because I know a lot of people are. Well, hopefully the following tips from myself and our wonderful members from our solo Facebook group are kind of point you in the right direction and make your life a little bit easier to make that decision to book your first solo cruise. And at the very end of the video, so please keep watching, I'm going to share my tips of how it's possible sometimes to upgrade from a solo studio cabin, to a balcony. Right, let's start at the very beginning. You want to book your first ever solo cruise, what do? Yeah? My biggest advice from my point of view, is find a cruise line that has solo cabins. Book your first cruise with a cruise line that has solo cabins. That really does make a big difference for me, because if they do have solo cabins, they're far more likely to have a solo program, which is wonderful, because that way you get to meet fellow solos on board. And quite often they will have a solo meeting. I mean, Norwegian cruise line, they have a solo meeting. Lots of these cruise lines have solo meetings where you get to meet all the solos. So go to the first solo meeting. It's really worth it. You don't have to take part, you can just be there and watch, but go to the first solo meeting. And one of the things to do organise, which I think is really worth doing, is dining at the beginning with fellow solos. It's really worth it, because that's a really great way of breaking the ice. You just go for a meal with the fellow solos, you get to meet people, and hopefully, you make friends. That's a really important thing for me. Now, if the ship, for instance, doesn't have a solo program, and a lot of them don't, then another tip is, join other people for meals, because when you go for your meals, they'll often say to you, would you like to join a table with other cruisers? And that's another great way of meeting people and making friends. I did that on my first ever cruise, and because I went with Princess Cruises on the Emerald Princess, they didn't really have a solo program, but I made loads of friends because I met people at the dining, I joined people at the dining, then I saw them on the rest of the cruise, and I had a drink with them. It's great. Right, okay, let's now go to the tips from our wonderful members. And I'm going to start off with the wonderful Kaz. Kaz Fawn, our lovely admin from our solo group. Now, her tips are research, research, research. Absolutely. Research, research, research. I can't tell you how important that is. I didn't. I had no idea there were solo cabins out there. I didn't do the research. It's really worth doing the research, yeah? Watch all the YouTube videos about solo cruising, including videos that we've made, like this for instance. Also, start watching cruise prices once a week maybe, to see how often cruises to a certain port, the prices go up and down. It's really, really worth doing that, because prices change all the time. So if you've found a cruise that you want to do, research it, research it, research it, and then monitor those prices. They do change. And another thing she often recommends is join either a Facebook group for that cruise once you've booked it, or the cruise critic group for that cruise, because that way again you can start talking online and you can start making friends, and you can arrange to meet them on board. So you've got a great head start. So that's a really, really great tips there from Kaz. Right, Tammy Sandy Shores. Thank you, Tammy. She says, when cruising solo, keep an open mind and chat to everyone you meet. Introduce yourself to people at the activities, the pool, the bar, wherever you enjoy spending time. I found that many people will invite me to join them for dinner or activities when they learn that I'm cruising solo. Absolutely, it's really worth it. People want to talk to you. They're on holiday as well, they want to make friends. So absolutely, I totally agree with that, Tammy. Introduce yourself to people, talk to people. You'll be amazed how open they are, and you make loads of friends that way. Janet Henshaw, she says, again, go with an open mind, as everyone's experience may differ. From what's good for one might not be good for another, but most of all, enjoy it. Yeah, we all have different experiences, which is wonderful. We all want to do different things. Some people love to get up early, some people love to party all night. But go with an open mind. It really does make a big difference, and enjoy yourself. Again, Christopher Dunlop, he says, I would say talk to anyone and everyone. Talk to people. That's what our members are saying. Talk to people. It really does help, yeah? Okay. Now, Tammy Anglesey, this is slightly different. She said that when she went on a few of her cruises, she found that some people are shocked to find out that you're cruising solo. But you don't need to feel that you need to defend or explain yourself. I just say enjoy it, and I'm still surprised how many folk just can't believe that I'm cruising solo. Some are rather pushy in wanting your life history. My goodness, I enjoy talking to people, but that used to bother me. But now I just smile and change the subject. Yeah, I think that's more for the ladies in some ways, to be honest with you, that some of the ladies find that some other fellow cruisers are a bit surprised that they're travelling solo. And that's crazy, because be proud, enjoy it, talk to people, and some people want to know your life history, you don't have to tell them. So that's an interesting one. I haven't found that myself as a guy. I don't think everyone has, and I find that on most cruises, the solos, it's probably almost 50-50, men and ladies, to be honest with you, of different age groups. Kim Cameron. On NCL, that's Norwegian Cruise Line, participate in the solo meet and greet. Go for dinner with a group. Future friends are there in the making. Kim, exactly. That is so right. Go to the solo meet and greet. It's worth it. Not everybody does. And if you're not in a studio cabin, you're in an inside cabin or a balcony cabin, then find out where it is, because you can get access to the solo studio for those meetings, and then go for dinner with them. As she says, it's really worth it. You're going to make friends. Nadine Hawley, thank you, Nadine. She says, I do as much freedom. Let's get this correct. I love the fact there's much freedom to come and go as you please. Watch the shows as you want. Participate if you want to, and sleep as much if you want to. Yeah, you're solo. You can do what you want. There's no one else forcing you to get up. You can stay in bed for as long as you want. If you're out partying all night, you're just free to do exactly what you want. If you want to see a show, do it. Do what you want. That's what you want to cruise for. It's fantastic. Thank you for that, Nadine. Kathy Wilcox. She says, I haven't done this, by the way, and I'm going to do this. Buy the towel clips from Amazon, yeah? Good advert there. Before you go, now I wish I'd bought them before, and take fridge magnets to put up the cards, yeah? Now, these towel clips, you just stick them, obviously, when you get your sunbed and on your lounger, because the towels move. Sometimes the wind comes up and the towels move. It's a really good tip. It's so simple, but that's a really great tip. Thank you very much on that one. Right, we have Nelly. Thank you, Nelly. Nelly Mellin. Make friends with the staff, and the rest comes after that. If they know you travel alone, and they might know some others, and they might know someone else is travelling alone, and they would give you good advice for fun stuff and people to meet. Absolutely, talk to the staff. They know that ship better than anyone else. They know, where to go and how to have a great time, and they see people cruising by themselves all the time, every single week, and they can point you in the right direction, and that makes a big difference, because sometimes people don't even know there are solo meetings, can you believe? Yeah, and they'll tell you. So talk to the staff. They want to talk to you as well. Yeah, and just to prove that, I have another one here. I can't really pronounce your first name that well. I do apologise. Yeah, it's Oliveira. I can't, so sorry, yeah. He says, there's a lot of good people cruising. Just be friendly. Don't hesitate and talk to a stranger. All of us want to have memorable cruising experience, yeah? And that's really great advice, yeah? Because going back to talking to the staff, he follows that with, Pete, I'm a chef for 5 years on the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. I'm so happy when a passenger talks to me, and I'm glad to cook for them. And when the time comes and I'm a passenger, I feel double gladness as I have the experience, as I experience when the chef serves me the food as well. Yeah, absolutely. Talk to the staff. Everybody. you're going to make friends. They want to talk to you. They want to help you. They want to make your cruise as great as it can possibly be, yeah? And, right, and Andy Milloy, yeah? Andy says, go with an open mind and be as friendly and forthcoming and as comfortable as you can be, yeah? You don't have to join in the solo meets in earnest. You don't have to sign up with the first people that you meet, yeah? I mean, what Andy did, he says, I just went along and watched what it was all about without getting rightly involved in their activities. And I still found that I talked to another solo. Then her friend. Then 2 more. And a lovely couple on an excursion. Soon there were lots of groups of us going for meals, shows, quizzes, excursions, but at no time did I feel tied to the group. We were just all free spirits, meeting and joining in when it suited each individual and always telling each other where we would be. Andy, absolutely, that's really great advice, yeah, because if you're a little bit nervous about meeting other people, because we're not all great at doing that, go to the meeting, just watch, see what happens. Exactly what Andy did. You will talk to people, and before you realise it, you're having a meal with others, and that's exactly what's happened to Andy. He's obviously had a wonderful time on his cruise, and he's got to meet people, and he's gone there just by watching at the beginning. It's really worth doing that. Okay, finally, hopefully those tips have pointed you in the right direction about how to cruise solo. Honestly, it's really worth it. I have a fantastic time. I meet wonderful people, and once you've done it once, you're going to want to do it again. Now, solo doesn't mean single, by the way. There are plenty of people cruising solo for different reasons. Now, I did say at the very beginning that I was going to share some of my tips, my main tip for actually upgrading to a balcony for my solo studio. I have done this numerous times, and I'm also doing this for my transatlantic cruise on the Norwegian Epic from Barcelona to San Juan, and then I'm also in the balcony going around the Southern Caribbean. I'm doing a back-to-back. I originally booked studios, but I upgraded on both to a balcony. So how can you do that? Okay, it's slightly different for people from the UK and from the US, because in the UK, if we change a booking and try to upgrade, we have to pretty well cancel and lose our deposit, yeah? In the United States, you can book and cancel and change at any time. So it's slightly different for both people, yeah? Both parts of the continents. Right, first of all, my biggest tip is watch the prices. Once you've decided on a cruise that you want to do, watch the prices, and then wait, if you're in the UK especially, till the price comes down to a price that you're really happy with. And in the UK, it has a low deposit, because a lot of these cruise lines have these deals with low deposits at some times, yeah? So if you book it with a low deposit and you cancel, you only lose a small amount of money, yeah? Then what I do is I watch those prices all the time. Not just the main price, the room prices, yeah? Click to see the room prices. Because what I've noticed, especially with Norwegian Cruise Line, and probably with the other ones as well, yeah? That sometimes the balconies come down in price for maybe 3 or 4 days for no reason whatsoever. And often the balcony is cheaper than the studio. It happens. So if you've booked your cruise at a low deposit in the UK for just £50, for instance, yeah, and you maybe your studio is say £1,000, and you're watching it, and the balcony is normally £1,800-1,900. It's way too much for us solos. You're watching, and then suddenly 1 week, for no reason, the balcony is suddenly like 1,050. Sometimes even cheaper than the studio. If that's the case, contact your cruise consultant, or what you can do then is very, very simple. Cancel the cruise that you booked on and rebook it. You've only lost a £50 deposit, and suddenly you're in a balcony. Right, I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and I hope our group's tips help. So if you are thinking about booking a solo cruise, my advice, do it.